Kia ora from Aotearoa, New Zealand, on the eve of this full moon, pink moon for many in the north, and very grateful for those of you who are able to join us today on the theme of stepping outside of time. For if we are able to step outside of time, and better still reside outside of time, we are releasing ourselves from the limitations of linear time and this 3D reality, and open to our multidimensionality. So let us begin with the alignment process today and see where our journey wants us to take us. Inviting you to sound, breathe, or move if it will support your alignment today, aligning physical, mental, and emotional bodies. With all pervading soul or higher self. And monadic galactic self. Activating the earth star 1 foot, half a meter beneath the feet, and connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary body. The rios de luz, light, the agua, water, fuego, fire, and oro, gold, the mineral kingdom. And inviting those primordial elemental energies of creation up through our pillar, physically and energetically, so they may support us to cleanse, clear, and purify. Regenerate, recalibrate, and reactivate ourselves. All the way up to the soul star, 1 foot, half a meter above the head, and inviting the celestial elements down to mix and mingle with the terrestrial elements. Inviting our ancient future selves into the now, as we surrender through the core of Source in the heart of Gaia, where the new true earth architecture emerges. The core of Source in our own heart space. Core of Source in the heart of the sun and the great central sun. The core of Source in the heart of the moon, in the heart of Tea, our ancient moon, that's part of which is embedded in the African continent. Activating our solar and lunar discs. And surrendering through the core of Source in the galactic center. Again, into Homo Universalis, our ancient future selves. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we strengthen and fortify our own unique pillar. Oh. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we strengthen and fortify our pillars and the place on the planet where we stand today. Honoring the guardians of the land and through the dimensional realities of which we are operating today. Calling upon those for support who are here according to divine will and divine plan. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we connect through and around the planetary body in the unified field of love. as I hand you over to Casey to continue our connection through dimension.
Thank you, everyone, for choosing to step forward into circle today. We will stay in this connected field, allowing our expansion to take a step further together. Breathing some life through our heart spaces, connecting our lights together at this time. And understanding that through the unified field of our heart spaces, that more information, more knowledge can drop in as we are welcomed further into unity consciousness at this time. Through the one space, the all space, through the collective, of higher dimensional learning and knowledge. Welcoming into the field now the consciousness waves, the creation waves, the story waves, the timelines of humanity and of the earth itself, the timelines of creation, of the planetary bodies, of the stars, of the galaxies. Understanding that we are going through another shift at this time. Another cog is turning, unwinding, disconnecting from the element of time and space as we understand it now. In order to step into full comprehension of this, we ask you to quiet down your mental mind, stepping fully into your light body. Stepping into the understanding of all that there is, that we are connected through that unity field. And stepping into the reminder of oneness again. It is from this place that we can expand and grow into that understanding, that visceral feeling of timelessness, of space, through the connected field of quantum time, of celestial time. This expansion is what's being asked of us now. It is through the field of telepathy that this can be reached. It is through the communication of all things at once. It is through the bilocation fields and the activation of the earth portals, the star portals, the intergalactic highways and skyways. That time and space exist differently. That dimensions merge. Realities are swirled together. This is the field that we are welcoming in at this time, and the consciousness around it. We wish to connect again to Gaia at this time, in remembrance of her and your journey with her, bringing her into the field in her fullness. There are parts and places on Gaia that exist beyond time. in this spaciousness already that have been anchored in. And there are pockets of her that have been frozen in time, that have not shifted and moved for eons. Both of these experiences are correct and valid. It is through your understanding of time and space that you can access each one. There are hidden keys and portals that you have access to. Jump points that allow you to traverse the earth and her portals when necessary. It is through this group field that we can access each place that needs to come forward. In recognition, for learning, for growth, for change, for the individuals here and for those places on the earth. There are places already established in future time and places that are stuck in past time. And this is where our journey begins today. So if you are ready, we are going to anchor back fully into the human space, back into our places in the circle. We will activate our human bodies a little bit more, bringing density into the field. Feeling your feet on the ground as you connect to Gaia where you stand. Feeling your chair beneath you, adding some gentle movement to your fingers, breathing deeply into yourselves. And when you're ready, choosing to come all the way back in, opening your eyes at this time.
Thank you, Casey. And for those that may be joining later and listening to this recording, to give a little bit of structure or unstructure of stepping outside of time, it really means asking ourselves what is required for us to step outside of the momentum tunnel of consensual reality. That force of consciousness where most of our planet's population is still embedded and it's beginning to rupture. But we have a responsibility as facilitators, practitioners, way showers, space holders now to fully reside outside of the momentum tunnel of consensual reality. And what does that mean in the practical magic of being on Earth? It means turning off the television if you haven't already, unplugging from mainstream media, no longer subscribing to the planetary pantomime, and rather focusing our consciousness on what we are creating by divine design. And this is a choice, and a choiceless choice for those that are fully committed and dedicated in soul service and their path as a pioneer of the new earth. For it is time to align with the divine and sync ourselves once again with the source of creation. And as we come on into the eve of this full pink moon, we're also happen to be on a switch point of the 9th wave of the Mayan calendar. For everyone in Europe and US and the Americas, today they're on the 36th day of the 36-day cycle. For us here in Aotearoa and into Asia, we're on the first day of the next 36-day cycle of the 9th wave of the Mayan calendar, which is a calendar of consciousness. So it's a really opportune time to make that choice, to unplug and step outside and reside in the new earth frequencies of the new earth. And it's a lot of fun to do so because we get to play in creation consciously and with creation. And a reminder that, you know, all species are evolving right now, not just the human species. The consciousness of our plants, of our stones, of our rocks, of our animals and birds, it's all evolving. We are all evolving together. And it is an extraordinary time to be alive and awake at this time. So on that note, is there any other questions or contributions to the field before we pick up from where we left off last time and head down to the southeast corner of Rapa Nui on the Pacific Ring of Fire and Ice? So let us go there. And I was just checking in with Casey before we began today, and we're looking at why we're being called down into that corner, into Rapa Nui. And maybe, Casey, if you'd like to elaborate a little more on that before we go in there and ask what needs to be supported.
As I was feeling into Rapa Nui today, it feels as if it's one of those places that is stuck in an ancient timeline that hasn't moved on for whatever reason, that it is frozen in time and it's ready to wake up. And part of those are ready to come forward that it keeps. And it feels like it was shut down in protection, but now some of those the words that want to come forward is ancient lineage for that location wants to be recognized. And as I'm speaking, the dragons are coming into the field. So there's a dragon connection there as well, in connection with that protection. And is it important that we speak on what Anna had brought into the field through our group message? She had had a vision about going there and connecting to a group of giants and bringing back crystals to them as an offering. When I read that in my field, I was curious if there was also like a master crystal that was in that location. So that might be interesting to feel into as well.
And as you speak into that, a few things come up. Tiffany also mentioned the red dragon down there between Chile and Rapa Nui. And when you spoke about Anna Katrina's offering of the crystals, I'm reminded of a particular area that I visited when I was on Rapa Nui years ago. And it was the entrance to an inner earth light city there. And it feels, when you talk about a master crystal, I'm getting the inner earth light city is what's responding as the master crystal that you're feeling for. Yeah. Wow. And it feels like another one of the sites on the planet that was successfully closed down consciously and safeguarded at the time of the fall in the firmament. Many were not. Bimini Bermuda Triangle is a prime example of one that was not successfully closed down and was corrupted, and actually left a hole in the fabric of reality, of which many physical ships have disappeared into airships and boats. So if we're looking at Rapa Nui as a site that was consciously closed, it feels like it's being called to be reopened today on the eve of this full moon. So let us invite everybody into their pillar, surrounding and through the planetary body. And there's going to be 7 levels of this reopening. starting at the source field and working its way down. So being with your breath and your body, knowing that as we offer ourselves in service to the planet in this way, it also realigns and upgrades our own personal systems. To the universal level. Galactic level. Solar level. Planetary. Inner Earth. And into the core of the Earth. I don't know about your bodies, but my little 100-year-old cottage has been creaking all the way through the expansion. Wow. It feels like it's just been open to the infinite. And I'm open to what everyone else is feeling and seeing and sensing from that.
Every level that we were clearing, I was seeing the stone guardians, the moai, right? They started off as a ginormous bunch, and every time we would get into like another layer of them, that would taper down until we were standing in front of like two at the very end.
Wow.
Right? It's on big. Huh.
Whoever's there with an offering, if you have an offering us, please could you show yourself? And if it's just static coming through, then best you mute yourself, please. Wow. It's so funny. As you speak of the moai, Casey, the what comes to mind is when I was on Rapa Nui. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Asia, and you can put your feet into those tubs of the little fishes that come and clean all the dead skin off your feet. So when I was wandering around Rapa Nui, I found a lake with these little fishes in. So I actually took my whole body in there and had thousands of little fish nibbling at my whole body. And it was the most exquisite, ecstatic experience I think I had on Rapa Nui the whole time. Oh, it was great. They should definitely have ones for whole bodies and not just your feet to have that experience.
I love that you gave yourself your own spa treatment there.
Yeah, Rapa Nui kind of lacked spas in those days. I don't know if it has any now, but it had these brilliant natural spas. You could slip in out of the wind and out of sight of the guardians.
It feels like, Leanne, that those two that are left standing are standing in front of the Crystal City, like the entrance to the Crystal City.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like something more needs to be. It's the opening of that inner earth, crystal light city that wants next. So that was your intermission cartoon, and now we'll go and see what's next. Okay. Again, there's 7 levels of opening for the inner Earth light city on Rapa Nui, starting at the core of the Earth for this one. So being with our breath and our bodies. From the core of the Earth. And inner Earth. Planetary level. Solar. Galactic. And universal. And through to the source. Wow, look at that. And it was really interesting because when we were right in the core of the Earth at the start, it was not just opening, it was getting recalibrated as well, simultaneously. What did everyone else see and sense through that journey?
For me, I couldn't see the full connection until we did connecting all the way out to the source. And then I saw it lighting up the entirety of the thing.
Yeah. Wow. That feels all complete down in the southeast of our Pacific Ring of Fire and Ice, and it feels like we're getting taken up to the northwest now. And last time we met, we were unclipping, and it feels like there's another unclipping that needs to happen up here. To loosen up the Pacific plate. And again, there's 7 levels up there, starting from source all the way down to the core of the planetary body. So let us go through that process and we'll see what emerges, starting with source, universal, galactic, solar, planetary, inner earth, to the core of Gaia. It is done. And so it is.
I'm curious, Leanne, what is the cause of that clip needing to be there in the first place? Like as we removed it, like what was holding it there?
From what I'm understanding, it's last time there was great movement. There were like clips that were put in place to help stabilize it and stop the movement. And now the clips are being taken off to allow what movement needs to happen next. How does that feel in your system?
It feels good. I'm curious how many clips there are.
I'm getting there's 4 more. And we're going to 2 more today and 2 more in 2 weeks' time. So let's ask where the next one is. It's in Antarctica. And the next one is more up in the Arctic. So let's just go through those 2 and see what emerges from there. And they're both undoing in the same order from the source through to the core of the planetary body. So into Antarctica for the next one from source. Universal. Galactic. Solar. Planetary. Inner Earth. And the core of Gaia. And up the Arctic, up to the north from source. Universal. Galactic. Solar. Planetary. Inner earth. And the core of Gaia. And what I'm seeing is the clips were not just locking the plate, they were locking time, which is really interesting. As we undid the Antarctic and the Arctic clips, my whole system began to soften and relax and expand more into the present moment. So I'm seeing the connection why today's theme was stepping outside of time in order to reside outside of time and fully in the present moment, where all is able to be accessed. Wow, any other questions or contributions to the field?
As you were unlocking, the guides were showing me the movement of the plates and the movement of the shifting of the dragon lines were coming forward. And it was almost as if by allowing the plates to move and shift to where they originally want to be, we're bringing life back through the dragon lines on the Earth planet. But there's a connection also to the solar dragons in particular. Those guys were lighting up as you were doing work.
Thank you. Soren, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
When you were, well, when the unfolding was, is how it felt with the guardians, the two by the entry point, felt like an unfolding in a way, like a fragile opening of release of the need for protection, you know, guardianship in a different way. It was like an opening to the transition of transiting into humanity's guardianship. Had this soft opening of the door, so to speak.
Beautiful. I just got a big wave of Koyopa, ecstatic energy from your offering. And yeah, it's about humanity reclaiming their sovereignty and responsibility as guardians of Gaia, as stewards, as kaitiakis of this planet we're privileged to walk on in human bodies at this time. Wow. Anything else?
I was curious, Siren, if you had a connection to that crystal city that we illuminated there. It felt like there was a connection for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in the way that you would feel a pyramid and the pyramidal energy that pillars through, you know, its generator. It felt parallelly through my pillar generator as the, you know, coming online, which I mean it's been online, but coming to be alive, vibrant, illuminated. I was telling, if you don't mind, sharing about what we were talking about the other day, Leanne. I had visited this place nearby here, and I was thinking I was going for a hike, but I found an underground inner earth city, and it felt just like that. It was a crystal interior pyramidal city, and I had a very similar parallel feeling to it, readiness to come online also, but you could literally see the facets of the crystals within and all the beings that were there. So all through the earth, parallelly, these other cities that are doing the same. As the plates are moving, the earth is opening, energies are expressing, they're coming to connect with humanity and co-work and co-weave together, but they're all expressing and speaking to each other through the networks within the core and the crust, as each one is opening and re-illuminating. So it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you both, actually. And it's interesting that the last piece for today's journey feels near here in the Bay of Islands, Te Tai Tokerau, at the top of the North Island, Te Ika o Maui. When we closed our journey 2 weeks ago on a new moon, I worked with Marie in the largest crater lake, not a deep lake, but a large crater lake here in the north called Omapari. And there was 2 other pieces that needed to be worked with as well. One's in Waimate North, where Marie lives, near a site of an ancient whale temple, and the other is down here on the Waitangi estuary. And I'd mentioned this a little bit to Siren and also to Casey just in today's journey. And the other 2 pieces want to be opened. So there's free flow from the crater through Waimate, through the Waitangi River, and into Mama Pacifica down here where the sweet and salt waters meet. So how does that feel for everyone? Shall we go there next and see what wishes to come online? And this is not a restoration of something old, it's an ignition of something new that is being turned on here. So taking our awareness to the area of Waimate North, to an energy center, not actually on Marie's property, but up on the hill there where I used to ride my horse as a child. And again, there's 7 layers. And this is opening up from the core of Gaia first. So from the core of Gaia into the inner earth. Planetary level. Solar. Galactic. Universal. And through to the source. Just pause there for a moment. Is there anything else that wants to be shared before we go to the next stage?
In connection to the crater lake that you were speaking of, the creation forces that are still there from that volcano that used to be there are still like the energetics, the vibrational ripple effect of that volcano that used to be there. She carries that birthing quality to her to bring forward the energies of the new. And it's interesting because I can still tap into her like in the fullness before she kind of took that other shape. And my soul remembers like that volcano. And I can feel the energy of her.
Wow.
So they want you to take that energy of that birthing and carry it forward into that next location.
That's interesting because the lake is only 1.5 to 2 meters deep. So it's really shallow, and it goes out into the Hokianga Harbour, which we spoke about before on the west coast of the North Island, where we worked with the Maori mythology of the whales. So yeah, they're both like big birth the birth canal. Yeah. Wow. And this area, the estuary where I am, is like the one on the other side of the North Island. It's like there's one on both that come from that big center. Wow. Wow. And a whirlywind's just going around the cabin, the cottage, as we speak. They're ready for the piece now, which is here. Where the sweet and salt meters meet of the Waitangi Awa, the Waitangi River, and the Pacific Ocean. And again, we're starting from the core of the earth while this one opens up. And the earth. Planetary level. Solar level. Galactic level. Universal level. And through into the source. and honoring the birds. I don't know if you could hear the bird song that's been surrounding me while we went through that process. It's been incredible. And yeah, some prophesize this time is the return of the bird tribes, which is a whole nother chapter. But wow, how was that for everyone else? Mm. Anything you would like to share, or any questions for the field before we close for today? Because I am definitely outside of time right now in a very beautiful way.
Those locations just feel like a to be continued, right? It feels like there's going to be more unfolding around all of that.
Yes, I have a feeling that over time we may get to discover why there are 144 islands in the Bay of Islands, and what this I'm getting epicenter is, what its role is in the new Earth. I know with my conversation, meeting with Siren, we were feeling into this energy center as both an axis and an access point, as an axis of the new Earth toroidal field, and as an access for a multi-galactic gateways here, many different galactic gateways. It's going to be a big meeting place for our galactic community, meaning our off-planet galactic community and our embodied galactic community, as we reconnect to Homo Galacticus, our galactic architecture, which is waiting for to be reinstated now. If we're not reinstated yet, there is personal work to do, and maybe with support to recalibrate and reconnect. To be safe in our embodiment and evolution, it's very important that we first anchor soul into body, into our Homo luminous, into that stage of our evolution, because we must be anchored into our body and commanding the space in our lighthouse in order to be secure for ourselves and those we're in service to. And then the process of reinstating our galactic architecture so that we can start operating as Homo Galacticus on the Earth. And it's exciting. And absolutely magical with the number of connections that are happening in physical form around the planet now, for those that have come online and interconnected with the galactic architecture. Wow. Thank you all for this extraordinary journey today. Thank you for being here to share, those that were able to join us in person, and thank you for those that are joining us in the recording. And let's wait and see what wishes to unfold in 2 weeks from now, as I hand you over to Casey to bring closure for today's journey.
Thank you, everyone who showed up in Circle today, both in physicality and online, in your energetic bodies, connecting us all together. We'll just take a few moments to come back to our individuated pillars, allowing the codes that came forward to drop into the field, and knowing that we can pick these up at any time for more integration. Thanking Gaia for being here with us on this journey today. Acknowledging the light cities that are coming online and coming forward, and those of us who have connections to them. Acknowledging the galactic consciousness as our next steps on our journey. As we embody our soul levels, we then embody our galactic levels. Thanking our guides, our star families, the guardians of the earth, giving gratitude for our journey and our connection as soul family that we can gather in these places and spaces. And looking forward to the time that we can gather in person on the earth plane in these activation points. Giving gratitude for our human bodies today and the guardians of our own physical systems, tapping into when they want to be upgraded for our further support. When we are ready, we will step fully into our human, anchoring density into our systems, feeling our feet on the earth plane, feeling our chair beneath us, gently adding movement to our hands, breathing deeper into our bodies, and when you're ready, opening your eyes and choosing to come all the way back in.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you. As we return fully intact onto the earth plane, a gentle reminder, if you need support, reach out to somebody who is resonant, grounded, embodied in their art, in their service, and in their sovereignty. And you'll find that those that gather in person on our Guardians gatherings are all practitioners and facilitators with unique gifts in the field of embodiment and evolution. So, blessings upon your journey as we head into a very powerful journey through the Easter period and into our next new moon, which will be the stage 4 of this preparation process that we've been preparing ourselves and our planet for in order to meet whatever she has in store for us on the Weizak full moon in 4 weeks from now. So much love, everyone, and most of all, enjoy the journey of the present moment in each day as the sun heads further south. Oh, sorry, from the south to the north. God, I'm outside of time and upside down. Okay, much love, everyone, and see you in 2 weeks' time. Take good care.